What is up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the charmingly churlish Dr. Disaster. And it would seem that companies are starting to realize that marketing campaigns need to start getting back to basics, and it is time to start selling products using spokespeople and ideas that are not repulsive. Case in point, the following ad has been blowing up all over the internet these past few days.
My body's composition is determined by my genes. Hey, eyes up here.
Sydney Sweeney has very keens.
Ooh, I like her.
The market cap of American Eagle skyrocketed up $300 million in the wake of these commercials, proving how effective good marketing is because everyone who saw this ad campaign said, "Oh yeah!" Meanwhile, several months ago, the car company Jaguar ran this ad here, which was weird and off-putting as hell. They were trying to appeal to a new audience, I guess, but nobody liked that shit. All they managed to do was scare off their primary audience. Sales for Jaguar dropped off a cliff this year. In fact, they fell over 97% because, let's face it, whether you are a rabid progressive or the traditional audience for Jaguar, aka an older affluent male, but whatever you are, when you see this commercial, your response is automatically And that brings me to the subject of this video. In the video game world, for a long time, we have seen extremely inefficient marketing. If you're a game developer and you're coming up with a main character for a game that isn't funny or cartoonish, something like a Mario game or a South Park game or something like that, but if it's meant to be a serious story, then generally there are two acceptable archetypes for a main character. You can make a masculine-looking male like Jin in Ghost of Tsushima. Like it or not, but that is the default because most gamers are guys. But if you want to go with a female character, then you need to go a similar route to American Eagle. However, Sucker Punch elected to go with this person here.
What the hell is even that?
This nonsense is getting old as hell, but deep down, parent company Sony knows that this sort of person here, this is the psycho actress Erika Ishii, who plays the main character in Ghost of Yotei. They know that she doesn't sell well. That is why this was the marketing that they went with in Hong Kong. They brought in the booth babes to push Ghost of Yotei because they know damn well that if they replaced these girls with Erika Ishii, that the response that they get from people would be
Run.
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and also, don't forget to follow me over on X, where my handle is Dr. Disaster 1. I keep a list on there of games lousy with wokeness pinned to the account at all times for your reference. I've also started uploading some content onto Rumble too, so make sure that you follow Dr. Disaster over there. But let's talk about the marketing for Ghost of Yotei. I had a hell of a laugh when I saw the marketing that Sony used at their booth in Hong Kong for their games, and on the one hand, it gives me a sense of encouragement, because at least at first blush, it looks like a return to common sense. At some level, Sony is a company which understands that this right here is what the majority of people, not just gamers, but people, want to see marketing their products. On the other hand, this irritates me that we don't see this at expos in the West. here in Western countries, they still act like showing something like this is practically violence against women. Companies like Sucker Punch, which developed Ghost of Yotei, and Sony, the company that's publishing it, they still labor under the delusion that these progressive feminist types that don't like this sort of marketing here, they still think that they have the power in the West. And certainly, they do have political sway yet. It has waned to some degree, but it would be a mistake to believe that the knockout punch has been delivered. But the area where these people, where these progressive shitlibs have struggled, where they just can't seem to get any footing, is in marketing normal products to normal people. Now, if you want to market a bedroom toy to a degenerate or something like that, then these blue-haired land whales with nose rings large enough to cause them to have neck issues, those people are perfect for marketing something like that. But the majority of the gaming audience is made up of normal men who appreciate the Sydney Sweeney American Eagle advertisement. And hell, let's face it, even the female gamers, who do exist, mind you, they are a smaller portion of the overall audience, but they do exist. But even those female gamers, a ton of them prefer seeing something that looks like these booth babes on the screen over Erika Ishii, for the same reason that male gamers would prefer to see hyper-masculine Marcus Phoenix rather than some scrawny little wimp, because it plays into the fantasy part of gaming. We would all rather imagine ourselves as an idealized character instead of something lesser. A critical mistake that these progressives make when analyzing human consumption of entertainment is this idea that we all want to see ourselves perfectly encapsulated on the screen in video games, and that simply isn't true. I don't want to see my imperfect self on the screen. I want to see something cool that I can pretend to be. For example, I just got done replaying the original Force Unleashed game on the PS3, and the character design in that is a cool looking Jedi character. He shares a few immutable characteristics of me, but he doesn't look like me personally, and that's fine. I don't happen to be a black guy either, but back in the day, I played the Blade 2 game on the PS2, and I enjoyed the fantasy of pretending to be that cool-looking badass. Meanwhile, Ghost of Yotei features this actress here who says weird-ass LGBT shit all the time, and who has made it quite clear that she is a progressive shitlib who hates a massive chunk of the gaming audience. This is just piss poor marketing. Now, will it completely tank Ghost of Yotei? As I've said before, no. The game will still sell. This won't be a Jaguar situation because Sucker Punch has built up a lot of goodwill among gamers over the past several years with the infamous titles and more recently Ghost of Tsushima. But they have poorly marketed the game to the point that I doubt that this one will outsell its predecessor, even though it really should. Ghost of Tsushima rightly had a lot of buzz when it came out. I remember people that I worked with when that game released, they were talking non-stop about it, and at the time, I had an office job. These were just normal people that I was hearing talk about this game. But with this new title, Yotei, they will have turned a lot of people off because hiring this actress and then using her likeness without altering the character's looks is just inefficient. So, coming back around to these booth babes that Sony used in Hong Kong, it is really striking to see how a company like Sony can quite clearly understand that this is what will draw people in. So they use this marketing strategy in the East, but it makes it very telling as to just what sort of brain rot the HR ladies are whispering into the ears of these Sony executives when it comes to how to market in the West, which leads to the bad marketing that we get over here. That being said, there is hope. Rumor has long had it that Sony executives were annoyed with Erika Ishii being cast for this role in Ghost of Yotei, and Demian sources claimed that they were blindsided by this casting and didn't like it at all. The more success we see from American Eagle-styled ads, the more abject failures that we see from the likes of these Jaguar ads, the closer we get to companies like Sony just disregarding the bad advice that they're being given. They've already seen big success out of a game that they published recently with Stellar Blade. Here's hoping they come to their senses and realize that wasn't a fluke. Hopefully they realize it sooner rather than later. But I'm gonna leave it there. Drop your mockery of marketing failures like the Jaguar nonsense and Ghost of Yotei into the comment section, along with your appreciation for American Eagle and the Hong Kong Booth Babes. Drop all that into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.